ish. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are well. I've got another superb guest lined up for you today, the wonderful Viki. And Viki's going to introduce herself, and then we're going to get into her take on confidence before going back to school. So, welcome to the show. Can I call it a show? Welcome to the Facebook Live. Hi.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Yeah. How's your day been?
It's going well. It's been busy. It's a good day. Yeah, we're getting ready for school.
Ready, yeah, like everybody else. Yeah. So please introduce yourself to the guests, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. Great. So I'm Viki. I'm a play therapist working with Pebble Play Therapy, which is my business based in the north of England, in Cheshire. I work across Cheshire with children and young people and families for a whole host of different ups and downs in family life. Yeah. That's where we are.
Brilliant. Yeah. So over to you, really. What have you got that you'd love to share with our viewers to help ease us into the new school year?
The new school year, and this year, is comes with so much more emotion, I think, and perhaps worry and anxiety than we would normally have at this time of the year, because of children being out of school for almost 6 months now. Some children didn't return to their schools after the COVID lockdown. So I think there's more anxiety for lots of parents about than perhaps there would be at this time of the year. Yeah. So I tend to always encourage parents to talk with their children, which I know sounds something that is, sounds a little daft just to say to talk with them. But I think as grown-ups, we sort of run through what we're doing, where we're going to be, what we're doing every day, and we forget to stop and talk with our children about the steps of school starts next week or tomorrow or whatever it might be. And just to allow them some space and time to talk about what's going on for them. And, I'm not sure the ages of the children of your audience, but even children as young as 3 can have a conversation with you as much as the teenagers up to. I've just been speaking to a colleague whose son is 16 and he has as many worries as the 3-year-old that I have at home today. So give them that space and time to talk and to prepare them. I don't know if that is that.
It's the conversation is the piece, isn't it? And I guess it is a conversation. It is a dialogue. It's finding that time to have a proper that conversation about it, or snatching the moments and making it real, I guess.
Yeah, and just trying to go back through, what do we need to do on a morning when we go to school? Okay, let's talk it through. So we have to get this ready, we have to be up at this time, we're going to walk to. So it's almost like a commentary, really, of how your day is going to go. And it can really help with reducing anxiety then on the morning, because we hold a lot in our heads, in our minds, and if we can talk some of that through and bring it out, then it helps us to calm our brains down a little bit and calm our minds down, so that we then, it can throw up things that you think, oh, I'd forgotten that I need, those shoes to look clean, or I need to find where those shoes are because I haven't worn them for 6 months, or that particular bag, or that particular shirt, or whatever. And the dialogue, like you say, there is a back and forth. It isn't just parents nagging children, have you got this ready, have you got that ready? It's just talking through, so the practicalities as well as the emotions that come with starting back to school. And then I would layer on top of that even further, particularly with younger children, to go through a physical practice of a morning, particularly. I think leaving the house and getting to school in that first week can be a real sort of trigger point for a lot of parents, a lot of children, and then there's lots and lots of arguments then that often happen between, have you got this, and we're going to be late, and a lot of stress can build. So particularly with younger children, if you can have a practice and say, right, let's pretend we're going to school right now, and let's put our uniform on and get our bag bag ready and pretend like we're going to go and, you know, meet your friends at the corner of the road or whatever you're going to do. And again, it might sound a little bit daft and you feel a little bit funny, but if children learn by doing, they need to experience something. And quite often, if we are just talking, then they tune out or they'll only hear one part of what you've said. So being playful and playing through, you know, how a day might go. And I always find that it's a really good thing to
rehearsing, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know if you have any experience of that yourself or if that's been useful.
No, I mean, nothing comes to mind. I mean, but I get the experience thing for anything. You know, if we say something, it's not what we say; it's what the kids hear. So we have to kind of help the kids see the stuff for themselves, and we have to and see it for themselves and experience it. So you know, it is an experience. It's kind of like embodied. It's inside us, rather than just a list of 10 things.
Yeah,
you know, that's one of the reasons that 10 reasons to bust your kid's stress don't work, because the experience doesn't land. So it's whatever we can do to for them to have that experience, to see it for themselves and to feel it. You know, feel it. And you're talking about also the minutiae of the logistics to bring that home to them. So talking it through and then doing it seems incredibly logical to me. Me and my wife haven't got any kids. My work is about inspiring kids to make their dreams come true. It's kind of big stuff. So for me, this is a total education in terms of the little stuff. But you know, we're looking for, in these times, we're looking for the little stuff, and we're looking like that into the big stuff.
Absolutely, and it just, you know, those little things that seem really, really simple. You know, I can already see parents across the country, you know, in these next few days going, come on, you know how to tie your shoes. Come on, you know how to do this. We've done it millions of times before. But we know for ourselves, you know, when you've been out of doing something for a period of time, and particularly if you're feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit stressed, our ability to think and go, right, okay, what do I need to do? And you do know how to do something, but in that moment, it can be really hard to place and to find where, you know, what you need to do. And children are also very in the moment. And you know, I left my house with my 3-year-old this morning to get him to preschool for the first time, and we allowed an extra half an hour because I knew that we would need to have lots of reminders and we would need to have lots of taking time to stop and say, right, we're going to do this now. And there wasn't, like you say, a long list of do this, do this, do this, do this. It needed to be, okay, we've done this, great, let's celebrate that. And then we're going to move on to the next thing. So it doesn't become too overwhelming in that, right, we need to, you know, I mean, I'm focusing on the morning of going to school, really, and that morning routine, which brings me on really to my next point of routines being quite an important part of, I think, this process again, and having that basic routine of this is what we do when we're going to school, this is what we do when we're coming back from school, to again kind of contain the emotions and contain the stress that sometimes seems to flag in these times of transition, the times of leaving the house and going to school. It's a period of transition which can quite often then cause lots and lots of stress, anxiety, panic, worry, whatever. But there and maybe excitement that's there as well, because children may not have seen their friends properly for all this time, and it's lots of mixed emotions. So often a bit of a waffle there, but you know.
No, but the media seems to be hell bent on telling us the negative stuff. So what about, you know what I mean? What about
that?
What about the positive stuff? Or what about not?
So I think it's, you know, it's our job as well, when we're preparing children to come out to school, to look at those really great things, isn't it? And go, look, what's really great. Yeah, okay, you've missed 6 months of learning, but let's think about our language and how we're talking about that with our children. And it isn't about the missing out. It isn't about gaps. Of course, there's going to be gaps. Of course, they've missed out on time. Of course, there's lots and lots of negative that's gone on in these last 6 months. But there's also really lots of great things that the children have been able to have an experience of in this time, and they can now go and share that back with their classmates, with their teachers, with there may be loads and loads of really wonderful things that children have developed in this time, that there's a new skill that they might not have had before, and I do think it's the job of parents, of educators, of anybody working with children to really, like you say, let's look at the aspirations for the future. Let's look at now what we can be doing, what can we be in control of. There's a whole bunch of stuff that, like you say, there's lots of negative that we can't be in control of and can't change. And we've got lots of regulations, and schools are going to look a little different because we've got lots of hand washing and one-way systems, and there's lots of unknowns. But there's loads of great stuff there as well that we need to remind children of, that they're present. And I would really encourage that to be another part of the preparation with getting children back into these routines and getting back to school, is to, at the end of the day, have that reflection time to say, right, okay, how was today? Like, what went on? What was great? Tell me something that was great, as well as the stuff that was, I couldn't do this, and I didn't get to do this, and I didn't get to see this person. But if we can also look at what was great about it, maybe you got some space in your classroom that you don't normally get, or maybe you got to take a packed lunch that you normally have to have at dinner, or and like you say, really looking at those, they're small things, but they matter to children. Adults have different things that matter, but children care about these small little things that that are in their lives. I don't know if that makes sense,
totally.
Or where we were going with that, but I tend to go off on a tangent sometimes.
No. So have you got? I can see you've got some notes. What else have you got to share? I think would be useful, Viki.
There's a couple of other things. So in my work, we focus a lot on the sharing of emotions and talking of emotions, which again can be a little bit of an uncomfortable subject for adults or for teachers or parents.
I know teachers tell me a lot about this. Parents less so, but teachers seem to feel very, like, somehow, I don't know whether it's just the way that they were taught and the way that I was taught. The teachers don't really want to let on. They see that as unprofessional. And well, if you're not going to be, sharing emotions and being vulnerable, I think is the word of the. It's becoming a bit of a catchphrase. But and I see a lot of people doing it as a strategy, vulnerability as a strategy, especially some of our friends from across the pond. But teachers don't really want to go there. But if you don't share emotions, if you don't share stuff that we've come up with, then the kids think there's something wrong. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I completely agree with that, Simon. And I think you touched on it there about, just being really genuine and being really honest with children. It doesn't make sense to start a new school year saying, okay, that's all in the past, it's all gone now, let's just, focus on the upbeat and the positive. It's about pitching it at the right time. So yes, we need to look at aspirations, we need to look at what's good, we need to look at what's coming, but we also need to acknowledge that vulnerability to say, what, today was really tough getting here. It was for me too. Teachers are probably just as anxious at the moment, just as terrified about coming back to school as the children are, but children very rarely get told that. And I think the teachers I've worked with that are really honest with their classes in those first few days to say, I was feeling nervous this morning, I was, or I was excited and nervous, and that at the same time, that helps to build that respect between the teacher and the child, and the same with the parent and a child, that, like you say, then the child doesn't feel, it normalizes feelings. It normalizes that there isn't something wrong with them if they're not feeling excited about going back to school. it's just with my little boy who's 3, that, everyone we've spoken to in the last few weeks said, oh, you're excited about starting preschool. He's got no reference point to what that is.
Well,
so he doesn't know if he's excited or not yet. But if he doesn't feel excited, then perhaps he feels like there's something wrong with him. So we've been talking a lot around having mixed emotions, and you might feel excited and a little bit nervous, and this is how he feels in your body. So, when you feel nervous, you get this funny feeling in your tummy, or if you're feeling a little bit distracted, so it's about matching up how it feels in your body, as well as, and giving them words as well. And I feel like sometimes when I explain this, it seems really like some people say, well, of course I talk about that. Of course, they know what excited feels like and what nervous feels like. But I really think there's something really great about just naming it and being really honest and being really open and talking it through. That goes a really long way for kids, particularly if us as adults can be the same and say,
nobody really knows how anybody else is thinking.
No. Yeah.
So,
and everything changes in the moment. So emotions and feelings, children need to know they come and go. So, even if you're stuck with a negative emotion right now, it passes. There's some really great mindfulness techniques and apps out there that you can encourage children to be a part of, that, feelings are like clouds. They drift and they come and they go. So even if you aren't having a great time right now, in 3 seconds time, it might have changed. Or in
well, we have 70,000 thoughts a day. So
there you go.
My stuff about my approach to this is, that as adults, we treat confidence as something that's like a phone or a bunch of keys, but it's not. It's not a thing.
Yeah,
it's a feeling, and feelings come and go. So
exactly.
We're more. The kids bounce back faster than us, really.
Mm-hmm. They do,
because they're not so hung up on the hang-ups, So
and they're very in the moment. And like you say, with something like confidence, that's something that comes up a lot in my work, when teachers or parents will say, well, I just want them to be more confident. But they are sometimes, and sometimes they're not. It's not about, you've got confidence, you've got it stays with you. It's an in the moment feeling, like you say, and you might be feeling confident right now. I wasn't feeling particularly confident 10 minutes ago before we got on this call. I was feeling a little nervous. But in 20 minutes time, I might be feeling really confident in another conversation that I'm having, So I think us being able to reference to children that adults also go through those ups and downs and emotions all through the day, and that it changes all through the day. Again, it normalizes for them that, so when they're having a bit of a tricky moment in the middle of the day, because they're missing home, because they're missing, we're pulling them out of a world that they've been in now for the last 6 months, where they've been able to probably be a little bit more laid back. They've probably had a bit more TV. They've probably had a bit more of a lie-in, or whatever it might be. And now we're springing them back into, the normality and worlds and routines. And there might be some, sort of, almost like a loss of the, like you say, the last 6 months has been tricky, but it's also been some great things that have gone on, and children might bereave that a little bit, we had
one of the earlier calls speakers on earlier was Wendy, and she was talking about that, about the change and people lost in that. We just want the kids to be more confident. But I guess I come across a lot of parents who aren't confident about improving their kids' confidence. Do you find that, or is that just me?
I guess I would agree that it's about what confidence means to that person, and it's different for everybody. So I understand that I've had lots of conversations with parents where you say, well, how do you expect that to happen if we have to model, right? So children will often sort of mirror exactly what they're seeing from those significant adults or peers in their life. And like you say, if even for example, something like going to an appointment with a dentist, we have lots and lots of parents that are really fearful and are not confident about going to an appointment, and they'll talk very negatively about the experience, and then will be quite surprised that their child exhibits a similar behaviour and will talk quite negatively. So absolutely, we really have to model what it is that we want our children or the children we're in care of, and being really mindful of the language we're using and how we're talking is a really important part of that. And particularly teachers as well in classrooms, the conversations that go on between school staff in the corridor, or you know, or with parents in the playground about things like that. You know, children overhear everything and they listen to everything, and then they're very most of the time very insightful to pick up on those things. So yeah, I don't know if that fits in your experience the same.
I'm just conscious that we're running out of time. I do have I do have a link to a blog post to your blog post on this, which I thought would be really useful. So and that also, so this is the pebble.family.post returning to school after lockdown. That's the one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we've pretty much it blogs about what we've spoken through there, with a couple of other bits in that we've not managed to cover. So go ahead and have a read of that, and hopefully.
And I also thought that is that's a great way if parents want to get in touch with you and find out more about what you do and how you can help them, then they've got the URL there as well. I mean, do you want people to connect with you on Facebook? What's the best way? Is the website the best way, or how do you like people to?
Either's okay, whatever the preference is. Facebook or the website is fine for both. Details are all there, and I would reply as soon as I can. Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant. Lovely to speak to you, Viki. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. Bye.
Great to have you on.